Order.
Labour's...
Order. The Honourable Clayton Cosgrove.
Mr Speaker, if the Minister who's just resumed his seat wanted an idea as to how to retain Kiwis, the 1,000 a week that are leaving our shores, including 17,000 Kiwi technicians, tradespeople and labourers for Australia, she would do well to look at a thing called the Christchurch earthquake, where we need 30 to 40,000 trade-trained, skilled people to rebuild the show, one of the world's biggest training schemes on our doorstep, where we know that her government put forward a paltry $42 million in trade training, 80% of which is unused, where we know that we have 84,000 young people not in work, not in training, a wonderful opportunity in Christchurch not only to reconstruct our second biggest city, but also to deal with and train and get off the dole 84,000 young people. Yet what do we find out? We find out that the latest reports are that we're going to import 15,000, nearly half of the quota of trade-trained people that we need. We're not going to train unemployed folk, as we could have done for the last 2 years. We're going to import 15,000 of them because the government lacked the foresight 2 years ago to actually take those young people, train them, turn them into productive human beings, 2 years through of a 3 to 4 year apprenticeship, who would have been highly skilled, highly productive and aided and abetted in the rebuilding of Christchurch. So if the Minister wants to look for an opportunity, and she's fond of quoting figures, she might look at the opportunity that the tragic earthquake presents. Instead of importing folk, and it's not xenophobic to say, as Jerry Brownlee committed to, Cantabrians first, Kiwis second and the rest of the world third when it comes to filling the capacity and the jobs that the earthquake has created. But oh no, the xenophobic labels put on by a few short-sighted in the media and that Minister there. We had a policy at the last election which was fiscally neutral. It was about taking the dole, giving it to the boss topping it up for 1 year, and the commitment is that that young person be trained. Now, you either use the dole to have the person languish, or you give it to the boss for 1 year, same money, fiscally neutral. That is then turned into a commitment to train that person through a thing called an apprenticeship, and allow that young person to contribute to the rebuild of Christchurch and take that person off the dole. And we put that to Jerry Brownlee and others, and we reminded Jerry Brownlee of the deal: Cantabrians first, Kiwis second, the rest of the world, whom we will need, last, and he did nothing about it. And I fondly remember the last time, I wasn't a member of Parliament, but I fondly remember, and I did remind a former National Party Minister of Education at the time, who I think didn't have the intellect or the smarts or the capacity, Mr Speaker, when that Education Minister, I think in 1992, repealed the 1983 Apprenticeship Act, didn't have the intellectual rigour, the smarts or the capacity, perhaps, Mr Speaker, maybe that member does now, to realise the error of his ways. But of course, we've got past that, haven't we? So I say to that Minister over there that it might be time that she look at what is happening in the earthquake. I went to a meeting of Arua school parents last night, fabulous parents, schools on the block. And apart from that, which my colleagues will deal with later, apart from that, these were great parents who want a future for their kids. They believed in the sort of John Key brighter future. Some of them had teenagers who were looking for jobs and are looking for a future. Some of them, I wager, are looking for trade training and want to get out there and contribute. But this government doesn't have the foresight, like its predecessors, to take advantage of what is a tragedy but also an opportunity to take those 84,000 young people, to train them and have them contribute in Canterbury to that recovery process. 17,000 technicians and tradespeople gone to Aussie, 1,000 Kiwis a week, 1,000 Kiwis a week, and that is the brighter future. Why would you stay here? You'd stay here because there are opportunities, and the Christchurch recovery gives that opportunity. Let's hope, Mr Speaker, that this government doesn't repeat the stupidity of past National Party ministers.
The Honourable Dr Nick Smith.